we will start the session. I have a little difficult challenge of introducing Dr. Jayakumar. Incidentally, though I'm 72, I'm his Ekaleva. He has been a digital guru for me. I don't miss any of his sessions. And in these days of HR attrition, here is Dr. Jayakumar, strong construction in L&D, strong foundation in L&D, true to the spirit of the organization. And one of the most happiest moments for me was when he was moved to Bombay. One is he's from my alma mater. Second is his own low profile, high impact contribution. While I personally have not worked with him in any of the assignments, that's why I said I'm an Ekaleva. I've always admired his impact, what he has created. And he is now a global role, not only in India, outside India. And another interesting for all HR fraternity to know from Dr. Jayakumar is he is a combination of 3 in 1. IR and labor laws, HR, and technology. And while a lot of IT companies boast on technology and all that, L&T did a lot of work long ago. And Dr. Jayakumar has been one of the front-end leaders in this. So one of the interesting and important reason why we wanted to have this digital guru session is we in HR should know how to balance all the 3. And Jayakumar has done that very well. With this brief introduction, what I thought is, Dr. Jayakumar, can you share your early childhood and your metamorphosis into HR?
Sir, born and brought up in Chennai, Egmore. Studied in Isabel Nursery School in Casa Bejar Road. Then I did my degree from AM Jain College. In 12th itself, I decided I'll not go to science, physics, chemistry, etc. So I took commerce, economics, and advanced English in 12th standard itself. So I was clear that time itself the route is different. After I completed my degree, then many times I have been not very particular that I want to get into a HR profession, but I was very much impressed with Madras School of Social Work. That made me apply there and enter into HR. After that, got a fascination towards and did multiple courses in the area of HR. And very recently, last 15 days back also, I was in LBS for a senior leadership program. So learning is a continuous process. It doesn't stop. But any point of time, people have to learn. That's the basic. Then the first employment immediately from School of Social Work was one Samarban Fabricators Limited, which is a 400 people factory in Ambattur, industrial estate. I joined as a trainee personal officer there, but within my good luck or thing, the personal officer resigned, and within 3 months from trainee personal officer, I was made a personal officer there. And before I complete 1 year, I had received an interview call from Larsen & Toubro. So I went and attended the interview. They said they'll offer me industrial relations supervisor role. I was a bit upset. I was a personal officer in industrial estate. While returning back in income electronics, Raj Raghavan, now who is the CHRO for Indigo. He was my batchmate in Madras School of Social Work. So I visited his office and I told him, I'm working as a personal officer. Now L&T is offering me supervisor, industrial relations supervisor role. What is to be done? When I came from the interview, I told them that I will revert back. Then Raj was the person who said, no, it is an excellent company. Don't take a chance, just join. So that was the beginning. Today, it is 33 years with Larsen & Toubro. I've been in different businesses of L&T in different locations, right from Chennai, Delhi, Bangalore, Mumbai, and I was also taking care of HR for the entire Middle East operations. So into different businesses, different locations with the different leaders, playing different roles in HR, started in talent acquisition, then comp and then was heading talent management for some time. IR, beginning of the career was fully into IR, entering into 12-3 settlements, union negotiations, etc. at Karwar, Kaiga Atomic Power Project, which is near Goa. So it is a in different locations, different functions, under different leadership. Never ever I thought of looking outside after I joined L&T. That's how today, 33 years, sir. Today I am the CHRO for the entire group, Larsen & Toubro.
That's fantastic. And I'm sure most of the participants who are listening, IR is not untouchable. Yeah. And here is Dr. Jayakumar, who started as an IR supervisor, and see where he has landed. And also tell me the secret. While most organizations are struggling on the HR retention, L&T probably is one company which has a higher HR retention. What is the secret behind that?
Sir, I will not say it is only for HR. It is again the culture.
Overall, yeah. Sorry, overall, yeah.
Culture of the organization. The attrition rate is hardly 4 to 4.5%. That's a voluntary attrition. Very recently, we may be seeing little higher compared to us, as all the companies are looking at. The first and foremost, I will say, is the culture of the organization. Next is the challenging assignments. Continuously, we have been growing. So each one had got a different assignment and lot of freedom to experiment and innovate. You are not inclined to one particular business. He does a work for 2-3 years in a particular business. He is rotated to some other function within HR, then within a different IC. For example, to give a participants a view, we have independent companies within Larsen & Toubro. Though you look at it as L&T, broadly it is defined as construction and non-construction. Within construction, there are different multiple companies, independent companies. When I say independent company, they have everything separate. They have a CEO, that is the IC head. They have a CFO. They have a CHRO. They have a supply chain. They have all entire department is there. Including there is a board with external members. Only thing is it is not listed out as a separate organization. It is not listed. The finance is not done. Otherwise, it is a separate company. So you have an opportunity to move from, after a period of year, you go to another organization. So it is into different businesses, different leadership, different culture. So he gets, it's not that he is doing the same work in the same organization. That gives a lot of satisfaction. And then the quality of exposure they get, because we have been pioneers in HR in different initiatives brought out as long back in the early 80s, and the HR practices of L&T was brought out in a book by Uday Parikh and Mr. T.V. Rao. In fact, the term HRD itself was started with L&T. And we give a lot of importance on people, sir. Right from the founder days of Larsen & Toubro, there is a saying, machinery may be there, buildings may be there, but without people, it is nothing. People are our real assets. And even if you look at our vision, we say L&T shall foster a culture of caring, trust, and continuous learning while meeting shareholders' expectations and the society. So learning and development is also given a lot of importance. So the person, one is, okay, salary is a hygiene factor, but the freedom to work, freedom to experiment, challenging assignment, rotation, learning opportunity, growth, all these things makes people to stay and work with L&T. Our tagline, it is, people are our prime movers. And we strongly believe in that, not just as a saying. So that's where the people are encouraged to stay back. Our long service award starts from 20 years, 20 years, 25 years, 30 years, 35 years, like that it goes. So,
that is really fantastic. You not only, you walk and then talk. I would not say talk and walk, you walk and talk. Incidentally, L&T pioneered the digital revolution, the HR automation, the overall automation, and more so in HR. I would like to say, as you rightly pointed out, attrition is not only about HR, it's about the entire organization. Yeah. Similarly, technology, automation, L&T pioneered in all areas, and more so in HR. Would you like to throw some light on that? Yeah,
sure. So the first of all, the entire credit should go to Mr. S.N. Subramaniam, our CEO and MD, who initiated this digitalization drive. That too, before he was about to take over, he went to US for 6 to 7 months to understand the technology business, etc. I don't know what he saw in the various other companies, etc. After he came back from that assignment, he started pushing digitalization. That time we were all thinking, what is he talking about? Okay, so lot of emphasis we have given, and in fact, we are really saying we are disrupting the EPC industry today with technologies, whether it is IoT, cloud, mobility devices, business intelligence modeling, AR, VR, all it is implemented. I will take some examples and say, for example, in the construction industry, there will be a whole lot of machinery, plant and machinery used across, right from the construction site. You will see a tower crane, you will see a batching plant, you will see a transit mixer, you will see a generator. So many things are there. Entire machinery was fitted with RFID and IoTs. And now from everywhere, the entire data comes to a particular location where based on analytics, we know the productivity, what is the productivity of the machine, what is the actual, what is the preventive maintenance required, what is the fuel consumption, what is the idle hours of, so we have more than 10,000 crores of machinery. If it is idle, at one location may be idle, another location somebody may be purchasing it, right? So all this analytics helped us to bring down the cost and improve the productivity. This is one particular area of the, for example, if it is the survey, earlier it was all manual method. Today, if it is even drones is used for survey. Imagine a transmission lines stringing. Somebody will climb this tower up and then you will put that with the rope, it is pulled. Now the drones are pulling the wires. So we have tried to use digitalization in across various areas, including for safety training. For example, if somebody is working at height, I cannot put him actually on a height and train him there, right? There is an AR VR software. When he uses that, he gets the feeling of working at height. In every aspect, wherever possible, even in materials management, we built the highest, biggest, tallest statue, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel statue. The whole brass claddings came from China. It is more than 3 lakh odd brass claddings which is to be fitted there. It's all automated now. It is all with the sensors in that. So before fixing, they know which part has to come to which part of the thing. So it fastened up the entire process of construction. So like that, we used digital technology. And it is not that easy. When I say just because if you can invest money, you can convert it into digitalization. It is a big change management process. He brought in the ex-CEO of L&T Technology as a head of digitalization for L&T. Then each IC he made appoint a person who heads the digital. Then we identified smart fellows from within who have the digital mindset into the team. Then every meeting he used to review what is happening in that, and we brought in the competition within the. So it is a great change management process which ensured the digitalization. It's not just an investment of money for digital. It's a continuous process which has been monitored from the top, which helped us.
Oh, that's really great. I want to ask a little sensitive question. L&T has people of my age as well as very young people. What are the unlearning challenges of old people and new learning challenges, or the so-called millennial challenges? And how are you harmonizing this 3-generational relationship?
It's a very interesting question. I don't know how to answer that. Yes, there was there. The people felt what to see. In front, they may not say. In the backside, they may be telling whether we will look at completing the project or we'll get into digitalization. So the people are only interested in completing.
Please unmute. Somebody is.
So it is. There were a lot of pushbacks, but since we put a structure in place, each IC there is a digital head. Then we have identified a team, and for each area we have brought in a people. Then it is continuously reviewed at every meetings, and Mr. S.N. Subramaniam, the CEO himself, at least in a week, 4 days, he'll be touring. he will go to various projects. Whenever he goes to a project, he and the IC head and or the senior leadership team, first thing is ask them what is the progress in digitalization. If they bring out some reports, then why not from the system? So continuous review, putting it back, and after a period of time, when it started producing, yielding results, people got aligned to that. So it was not that difficult to do that. We had pushbacks, but we managed that due to various change management initiatives, meetings, reviews, appreciation, digital awards for each of the ICs. Within the IC, there were some competitions like that we did, and we could make it.
Can you also throw light on the HR digitalization?
Yeah, HR. Yes, first and foremost challenge for us was it will apply to all the companies, and not only for L&T, any major company. It's an 80-year-old organization. Over the period, it is not that we have not digitalized. We had different systems, IT systems, different packages, etc. So, an organization L&T had, if it is 23 companies, there will be 23 systems. And within that also, for example, if you take talent acquisition, somebody will have Hirecraft, somebody will have something else, somebody will have, each one was having a different system or homegrown system. So it is, the biggest problem is you cannot get the data in one place and arrive at a final conclusion. So first, there are typical challenges like looking at the scale, size, complexity of the organization. Then next is the affordability, cost. There are different software. You can go to SuccessFactors, you can go to Oracle, you can go to many other startup softwares also. Again, what is the cost and you can afford to. Then the credibility of the technology based on that. And if you go for a software, then you have to go with that. You cannot take buy a Rolls Royce and then modify it according to an ambassador, right? I want to do like this, so I will convert everything. Customization, how much of customization you have to do, or you have to stay with that. Then integration with the existing. You will have finance, some other system. Okay, perform. So how do you integrate that? Data security, then ease of usage, employee experience. So all these things together, we have to look at, take a decision. A decision like whether buy or build. Most of the time you go for buy. You don't build the software because we are not in the business of doing software. Once you decide that I will buy a software, then am I going to buy a software for all as a package, like talent acquisition, training and development, everything will be in that, or I will use a hybrid. Okay, for certain things I buy something. Some software is very good in talent acquisition, so I buy that. Some software is very good in learning and development, I'll buy that. The core data will be in somewhere so that I integrate everything and make it customized and have an analytics on the top of it. So these are certain fundamental decisions to be taken while we embark on a digitalization journey in HR. So if that goes right, then everything will fall in place. If you commit a mistake there, then it is very difficult to rework that and getting it. We went for a hybrid system. We typically took one international software, that is the SuccessFactors, as the base. We did all the data, everything. The Employee Central was in that. Then we had for each one, and some of the areas like performance management, data thing, it's all we used a particular. Then we identified in each place in talent acquisition, which is the best software. Same in learning development, what it is, everything we integrated together. Today, if you write from my advertisement till the shortlisting, then for interview, salary negotiation and fixation, offer letter, onboarding, getting inside, entire process is digitalized and it goes through that. Then the next step is there are a lot of startups coming up with very, very innovative products. For example, we have something called Rappel for micro learning. So, which is a quiz type of it. Any topic, we develop a video or a PDF log or document which is launched. Then a quiz comes at a different times, asking for that answer. And once they answer, there is some points coming. Based on that, there's a leaderboard, etc. So, like that, we integrated that. Then for query handling, for policy hub, all that thing we identified in another software entity. So looking at our need, looking at our existing complexity and other things, we have to decide and go ahead, sir. That's how we did it. And again, it is identifying, getting the software, integrating, and putting everything is only 50% of the story. How you make them work, implement within the organization is the biggest challenge. If I take one example, if a recruiter, he is very comfortable in going through the Naukri or Monster or LinkedIn, download one application, immediately call the person, send an email. Then you ask him whether you can come tomorrow or day after tomorrow, next week for an interview, and close. And he'll maintain an Excel. He is very comfortable with that. If you ask him, no, you have to create a position ID. Then from position ID, you have to create a job description. From job description, it has to go. From there, it has to come, and you have to send it to the workflow to the your department head. He has to. He will feel literally that I have to close the position. Now I cannot sit and doing it. So it is how you make it user friendly, how you give repeated training to all the stakeholders, how you keep monitoring it, and from the top telling that no offer will be signed unless it comes from the system. After a period, it matures. Then the implementation becomes full. Otherwise, the system will be there, partially used, and people will be comfortable with the existing Excel technology, and it will not get implemented. So there is a lot of training, monitoring is required from the top to bring in a digitalization within the organization. And no doubt that the system has to be such, the user experience has to be such so that they will automatically come. But in spite of everything, there needs to be a very, very structured change management process to be implemented for bringing in digitalization to live within an organization.
Oh, that's really great. And the mind shift management is not an easy job. And
yeah,
kudos to all of you. Also, you deal with, on the one end, construction laborers, and on the other end, IN team, and in a distributed environment. How is that you have been able to maintain an excellent harmonious relationship in almost all sites?
Again, a thought-provoking question. We definitely have a very, very harmonious relationship within all the projects. Well, one is the nature of the work itself, sir. And the as an IR person, you know, if the work is continuous and people are at full throttle working, then there's most of the time there's no problem, right? Only idle mind is a devil's workshop, right? If there is no work, there is no thing with sitting idle creates. Most of our recruitment is through campus. We strongly believe in build your own timber. Every week, visit every IITs, NITs, some of the best engineering colleges, diploma engineering colleges. Even for ITI, the workman level, we go to ITI colleges. And there's a continuous buddy training program. And our feedback process is also good. The continuous feedback process we follow. Lot of OD initiatives we take. When you look at 50% project and many of them at office, generally people say that the site work is difficult, right? They say AC/PC environment, AC and PC, I'm sitting in an office, it is good. Whereas when I work in a project site, it is very difficult. Very surprisingly, whenever we do a engagement survey, the engagement scores at a project level is high. Because they work as a team, they have a vision, they have a very focused goal to complete. This is the project, this is the timeline, this is to be completed. So that focus helps us to maintain this harmonious relationship. Plus, it is a transferable job, project-based, project completion, sense of achievement. These all things helps to maintain such a relationship. That is a reason that attrition is also less, retention is more.
I think this is a great lesson for all HR people. Where do we focus and how do we? And 33 years you have been there, so you know it.
Yeah.
Interestingly, as a country, one, we are facing skill shortage. Globally, skill shortage is happening. And your chairman is also the chairperson of the uh, National Skill Development Corporation. What is your take on the emerging skills and at the bottom of the pyramid, creating more employment both locally and globally?
So that's a big, very, very, very big challenge. In fact, the amount of projects which is coming up and the infrastructure spend, etc., the grassroots level skill is a very, very, very difficult. And today, with lot of other technology-based businesses are there, developing grassroots level skills has become a topmost priority for us. In fact, our chairman itself, he is in the NSDC. He is the chairman for NSDC. We one way at the grassroots level, what we do is we have Construction Skills Training Institute, which is we take the 10th standard qualified or even 10th fail unemployed youths, using many of the NGOs from different districts. We recruit them, bring them to our Construction Skills Institute, where we give a structured training in the area of formwork, masonry, bar bending, welding, plumbing. You take any of the skills. There we put a lot of effort in training them and then sending them to the project sites. We also do a part-time shift skills training at the project sites also. Whenever the labor comes, we put them for a month or 1.5 months training there and then move them to the project. And after doing a continuous training happens at a project. When you look at the engineers part of it, we invest a whole lot in building the most of the senior positions are filled by internal talent. In fact, we have more than 18, 19 training facilities available in the country. For example, our Leadership Development Academy in Lonavala, I can house around 300 staff there, 8 to 10 training halls, facility with accommodation. So continuous leadership development programs happen there. Then I have 2 construction skills CTA for one in Mad, one in Mysore, which is for the technical training for engineers. We have developed our own Institute of Project Management, which is focusing only on project management. I have a dean, I have a deputy dean, I have in Baroda as well as here. So the entire on risk management, contracts management, tendering management, all the type of training which is continuously done there. Then we have a safety innovation school at Kanchipuram, where you really experiential learning part of it. If, for example, working in a height, there is something made where a person walks through that, he gets understand the feeling of working in height, how to do. Working in an closed enclosure, how it is. So experiential learning school it is there. We have a tunneling academy there. When you are doing so much of metros, we have started an academy there with a live TBM and that tunnel boring machine which is with, and we batches of people are sent there, engineers are sent there to be trained how it is done, and they come back. We have a rail training academy. So whichever broad areas which we are focusing, we have our own training centers. We put people in that and get them. And the
Kindly mute, please. Yeah. Sorry.
Same as the Construction Skills Training Institute, it is not only for us. After doing the program, they can join us. We provide them immediate employment. If they wanted to go and do some other work on their own, if they want to start something, it can be done also. So it is more of a, for the society also, it is being done. So continuously, there are 9 institutes, 9 principals, there are teaching facilities, it is happening. In spite of that, we feel there's a huge shortage of workforce today.
That's really great. Also, looking at a bigger picture of NGO partnership, it's also an incidental community outreach. Kudos to the entire team. What are your what is your advice to the industry academia partnership, especially the academia being contextual and relevant and futuristic? As I rightly said, lifelong learning is going to be the way things are going to move. What would be your suggestion or advice?
So one is, we are in touch with more than 150 to 160 colleges across, where we do the campus, where we visit, where we have continuous interaction. Now there is another way which where we take the people for internship, apprentice, and all those things are there. That is which is traditionally being done by most of the organizations. And we also encourage all the employees to, whoever it is there at a position, in case of guest lectures, etc., for going to the different institutes. So it is more of a branding part of it. Most of our senior employees are in their academic board of many of the engineering colleges, which we encourage, so that there's a constant interaction between us. Even I am in the board of many of the colleges, in the academic councils, etc. More importantly, we have recently started a venture called EduTech, which is in technical education. So it is you have Coursera, you have LinkedIn, you have so many things for behavioral and leadership. Whereas this is purely on technical education, L&T EduTech, which is on civil, mechanical, electrical, project management, etc., clearly covering the degree and above syllabus, which is a platform which has been done, where it is doing for test, for assessment, as well as for education. So in that, we are contracting most of the engineering colleges for Academia India Institute participation. In fact, first, when I was in construction, we have also done train the trainer for the professors. We call those professors, generally there's an apprentice or the internship only for the students. In fact, professors came to us from engineering colleges, where we conducted 2 to 3 day workshop for all those people to make them understand the latest things happening in the civil, mechanical, electrical, and project industry, etc. It has to go much more, sir. That is very much required, so that the student get the best out of it. More than that, I feel the faculty should be oriented towards the industry. They should get into the industry, and there should be a constant interaction between the faculty and the industry.
There are 2 more questions, then I would leave it to the audience. What is your advice to HR fraternity, both learning and unlearning?
Learning is a continuous process. First and foremost, my experience, there is no substitute to hard work. We cannot, that is first and foremost. Next is, whatever you do, please relate with the whatever you have studied, theory versus the actual, right? I have seen people who are really fully practical oriented, or the other end. Whenever I do something, whenever I do a course or whatever it is, that I immediately see how things can be implemented in our organization. You know, experimenting it, doing it, learning from the mistake, and then scaling it up.
That's great. And my last question is, what are your moments of pride and what are the moments of frustration in the last 33 years?
Moment of pride is starting as an industrial relations supervisor. In fact, that time they don't even call it as an industrial relations supervisor. They call it as a timekeeper, right? Time office supervisor. So it is from there, I've been grown in the organization, taking different roles, different locations, different things we have done. That is because of, one is hard work, one is the curiosity to learn, and moving out of the comfort zone. Okay, I could have stayed within Chennai itself very comfortably, and I said I I would like to be in Chennai, where I am very comfortable. My parents are there, family is there, my relatives are there. So I could have remained there. But definitely L&T would not have sacked me or sent me out. But I would have remained there as I would not have got this growth. The moving out of the comfort zone, stretching your neck out, trying to take risk, and trying to implement certain things in the organization. Learn from your mistake. Everybody is will commit mistake, but learn from the mistake and then don't do it again. That is the, so what I am proud is the growth in the organization and reaching this position, which only one person can achieve this, right? Out of the whole thing. So in that manner, I am proud of it. Frustrations, that is, you have to be resilient and you have to come out of that every time. Even today, I feel much more can be done. When I look at some of the other organizations, whether it can, even in terms of HR digitalization or leadership development, or in terms of succession planning, or in terms of in the many other HR functions, when I feel, I think there are a lot more can be done. So building a team, getting people aligned to that, and creating a vision and working towards that is the most important.
Okay, let me start with Ravi. He had asked, he has made a comment, change management initiative perspective is interesting indeed. Ravi, would you like to add something to that? Ravi? Okay, Israel? Okay, I'll leave it open now if anybody has questions to ask. Or I can put the question in chat box. Please unmute and ask.
Hello.
Hello.
You are able to hear me? Ravi here. Deena, you are able to hear me? Hello.
Yes, I can hear.
Okay. Wonderful. I actually like the perspective that you brought, saying that no, more than the digitalization and what you did across, not necessarily in HR, the fact that you highlighted it as a change management initiative, I think it's a wonderful perspective. And two things I just wanted to comment, and you can add on with the excellent experience you have and your organization has. One is, of course, looking at digitalization itself as a change management experience. Most HR, want to say, will I go with SAP? Will I go with X technology, Y technology? Will I do it on cloud? Will I do it on server? Those kind of nitty-gritties, not really looking at it as a strategic management initiative. That was a wonderful perspective. You may want to add on that. Second comment I had is, this National Skill Development Council and other things, they all focus on short-term courses and they all focus on specific skills. Whereas when I was listening to you, I could look at your organization being a learning organization, which is also building cognitive and intelligent ability of employees, right? A research has brought about saying that specific short-term courses do not help skill upgradation in the long run, unless cognitive and learning abilities are built. And L&T and you seem to be doing a lot on that. When I was listening to what you were saying about engineering skills, you have a project management school, you have a safety school. So if I'm an engineer there, I'm just not learning my engineering skill. I'm learning leadership, I'm learning engineering, I'm learning safety, I'm learning project management, which is really building up the skill on the long term and not specific skill. I think both were excellent inputs for HR who are alive, and like me, who I'm retired. But I'm sure practicing HR folks would take these two cues from you and look at change management and learning as very critical for an organization in terms of driving it forward in HR. You can add on, Mr. Jayakumar. It was excellent. Thank you.
Thank you, Ravi. Thanks for the input. First thing is, when I am going for a digitalization, the first pitfall is I should not go because everybody is going for digitalization. Everybody is doing, so I will also do. No, whether you have a requirement, what is the specific requirement, accordingly you have to get into that. Second thing is, mistake we do is we try to just convert the existing project procedure into digital. That cannot be done. You have to look at the whole process. For example, there will be a most of the organizations, they may recruit a person, issue the offer, and then the person joins, and then they may be doing a background verification. And after even L&T was doing like that. Okay, we interview a candidate, then issue the offer, the person joins, then on the joining day we collect all the details, and then we issue the PS number, etc., and the balance paper goes for background verification. That time itself, during the joining date, we take a form authorizing the company to verify his background. After 1 month, when the report comes, if there is a red or a problem, then it becomes very, very embarrassing. The good practice is, after the offer, before the offer release itself, it goes. Before the person joins, the entire process completes. The system will have that. Now you cannot customize it and no, my company does it. So you have to, not existing practice, you have to change the practice toward the best practices which is there. Another example I can give you. Traditionally, companies will have a training needs identification. There will be a training programs are designed, and once it is designed, they will announce for getting the nomination, and whoever nominated, then that person will be intimated that you have to attend this program. It's a traditional way. Today, most of the organizations, there it is available in the portal itself. These are the programs, these are the days, this is the venue, and whoever is interested logs in and says, I would like to attend. So the process is changed. So you should be in a position to change the processes based on the requirement. And vendor should not decide what thing to be done. We have to try to do that. And the biggest misconception is, once I launch it, everybody will start using it. That no, and change management is not sending some circulars, posters, and telling that we have introduced People Strong, we have introduced Coursera, we have introduced this. No, it has to be continuous nudging, has to be done. Yeah.
That's a great answer. Reinforcement.
Yeah.
Anybody else would like to ask a question?
Sir, I am Nagarajan from Breaks India.
Yes, Mr. Nagarajan.
Thank you for the wonderful session, sir. It is definitely a pride to work in companies like L&T, and that too from a person who has grown from the company. I want to have a slightly a deviation question, which is in industrial relations, though you have not, you have thrown more light on digitization. This is regarding the labor code and how it would impact the existing long-term settlements, which is in force, which may end up after several years.
Yeah, we have to look at a typical example and then discuss on that. But overall, the labor code, we have started working on that very seriously, because it has got a lot of implication in terms of the gratuity as well as the PF, etc. From the employee side also, I have an issue that the current take home will go down. So we are working at different methodologies, looking at some of the annual payments, converting it into a monthly at the set of. We have worked out a process and kept ready, so that when the date it gets implemented, we would like to bring in some of the annual components into the monthly, so that the employees are not affected by the loss in the cash home take home salary.
Thank you, sir.
In terms of long-term settlement, we have to look at a particular case, and then we can discuss how it will go. Otherwise, it is in a general, in a very broad base, it is difficult to comment on.
Now, do we need to disturb it? Because the settlements have been entered with the union. under 18.1 or 12.3 and it has got a legal binding. In such a manner, do we have to disturb the existing settlement, or once it gets over, do we have to revisit it?
I think it's more contextual. I don't know.
More contextual. If you look at,
But a good question. And maybe whatever on the labor codes, is it generally shareable or it's more confidential to L&T?
labor code?
What packages you're designing so that employees are not affected? The concept, is it shareable?
Sir, concept part of it, first and foremost, is your basic, like our traditional companies, even software companies have now around 30 to 40% of their CTC as a basic. Whereas in our company, if you look at it, maybe 20 to 25% maximum will be the basic, right? If I have to increase the basic to 50%, if I look at the gratuity contribution as well as the PF and the leave, when it comes to gratuity, the future can be adjusted in the CTC itself, but the past service contribution has to be paid by the company, which is a huge liability which we have to accept. There is no other way to get it done. When it comes to leave, we had around 300 days of leave. We have brought it down. We aligned and to around 90 days now, and the balance leave we have encashed. When it comes to PF, future part of it, it can become a part of the CTC, but there will be a reduction in the cash or take home of the employees. We have a concept of one is performance linked pay and the retention pay. Retention pay is paid at the end of the every year. That retention pay we are thinking of converting into monthly so that the take home does not suffer.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, the company will have to take some hit on the gratuity as well as the leave encashment of the past accruals.
That's great.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Anand, are you there?
No, Dean, Anand is not there.
Oh, okay.
I am only here.
Oh, okay. Okay,
Sridhar.
Shida. Okay.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jay sir, this is such a fantastic that sharing of all the L&T. That many people are telling that's very pride to working with the L&T and all. So for just my career development, I have just sent you an in personal chat on message to you, sir. And thanks for that sharing and everything.
Oh, thank you. It's more a personal. It's
yes,
not for the benefit of the group.
It's benefit of others also, sir.
Then ask the question.
Yeah.
No, it's all about the labor code and all. The Sarah has explained very in detail that how their organization is working towards the labor code and other things.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hello, sir. This is Manikandan from Renault Spence India Private Limited. Thank you for your wonderful session, sir. My question here, the L&T is a group which consists of many work locations, not only in India, in some other locations also we have.
Yeah.
As a multinational company, how you are dealing the cross-functional teams? Because you will have your own ethics with your company, and the people from different regions will have their own way of working cultures. So how you are managing those things as a HR person? Since you have handled EMEA and other part of these things, just wanted to know, because we have similar practices in our company also.
Yeah. No, but I literally didn't find much of a problem in such areas, because across we have a set of values, we have set of guidelines which to be followed, which is very clear, and the culture of the organization is such. When a person joins, he looks at the surrounding, the leadership team walks the talk. You get a feel of what is right, what is wrong. So I didn't find there's a big cultural mismatch, whether when I was working, whether it may be in the Middle East or here or any of the locations. I think the proper induction and integration of the people into the organization plays a vital role. I think initially, time itself, it has to be taken care. The induction has to be proper so that it works. And we align with the custom of the geography in which we are working. When we are in Saudi, we follow the practices which is being followed in Saudi in addition to our existing value system and our process procedure.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
And I think that's a nice answer. When you are in Rome, be a Roman.
Yes.
Okay, maybe I'll keep this as a last question. There's a question from Israel and Baraj. How Metawars is going to change HR function?
It is, in fact, it is evolving, sir. It is how much it is different from VR, AR, or it is rechristened as Metawar. Definitely, with the hybrid way of training and the digital way of training, it in at least in the training function, it will be of much of use. That's what my personal feeling it is. We have not started particularly using it, but AR and VR is being extensively used for safety training in our organization.
Great. Thanks, Dr. Jayakumar. I hope there are no other questions. We have heard some gender voice.
That question they should have asked Israel Inbaraj, sir. He is an expert in IR.
Yeah, TCS.
Yeah, he is there.
He should have answered.
He should have answered. He does a lot of webinars on labor codes.
That's right. Thanks, Dr. Jayakumar. Hope there are no other questions.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we have one more doubt, sir. Like, can you tell us various initiatives taken on leadership development at L&T?
Yeah. See, it's a big story to talk about. We have in 7-step leadership development process. Forget about initially at the supervisory itself. We have a supervisory development program, which is tied up with many of the academic institutes as well as our. Then we have an executive development program, which is a 10-day program at the executive level. And when you go into the managerial cadre, we have a 7-step leadership process. The first is the management education. We are tied up with IIM Ahmedabad and as well as SP Jain, and even with IFMR, etc. for our for doing a MBA program, which is a contract classes. Every 3 months they come back and they do that. That is at the tier 1 level. Then at tier 2, we have an LDP program we call as Leadership Development Program, designed along with McKinsey, where we take around 2 batches of 120 people, which runs around 9 months with 4 key modules, which is on developing self, developing others, then change management, and on business. That is 4 modules, which happens for second level. Then at the next level, we have a tie-up with Ross School of Business, Michigan. We call it as a Global Leadership Development Program. Then we have at the next level, we have with the INSEAD, which is creating L&T into a global corporation. That's the name of the program for the next level. Then we have a program with the Harvard Business School, which is for the tier 4 level of people, which is the general managers, etc., which is again a leadership development program. Then we have the mentoring with the chairman as well as the group chairman, which is a 7th step. And these people also go for the final program, which is the senior executive program with the London Business School, which is a 1-month program, 15 days, and then after 3 months, again 15 days. In fact, the last week I was in London, just attending this program. So training is a continuous process, and it is done at every level. In addition, we have the whole lot of competency program. Each level we have identified the competency, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4. Then we have a competency, we have an assessment center. We identify the gaps, then we make an individual development plan, and they go through the competency-based programs. and project management and other things are all other technical programs are separate. In addition, we also sponsor some people for the external program. So we give a lot of importance to training, and most of our senior positions are filled internally, and people remain with us because they are learning continuously takes place. To be very candid, we are not the best of the best paymasters, but my attrition is 4.5%. That is only because of the environment, culture, and the learning opportunities.
I think that's a powerful conclusion. It's not money that is going to make a difference.
Yeah.
Sir, one more question from our end, sir. Sir, every HR guy or every HR professional wants to be a CEO as their ambition in their professional career life, sir. What is the tips you can give to a youngster who wants to grow himself to be a future CHR person?
Everybody wants to become a CEO, it is fine. First, everybody should try to understand the business. First thing, even a person joins as a trainee, if we are as a frontline, and if he says into talent acquisition, first thing I say is go sit with them and understand the whole business part of it. What is the role, what they are doing. So understanding business is very, very important. A person has to talk the language of the business, and plus he should also get a good understanding of the finance also, and how the whole organization works. Then he can grow up as a CEO.
Great. I think Chetan.
If I border myself as I am an HR person, I take care of recruitment, I take care of training, take care of this, then we cannot grow into that.
Dr. Jayakumar, you must permit me. There's one more question. I'll stop with that. Yes, Mr. Chetan.
No, sir. I'm done with my questions.
Oh, okay, right. I see a hand raising. So,
since you have touched upon the digitalization, I have one question. How you are seeing the data analytics? Currently, the booming market is the data science and data analytics. With respect to data HR, how you are seeing the data analytics is most important in the future or career of the HR?
So that is a very, very important field. So today, all digitalization, everything is fine. One major advantage is the user experience, I agree. Okay. But the biggest advantage of this digitalization is the analytics. The thing is, that's why I said you have to first take a decision whether how you are going to do that, because the entire system should be integrated so that the one data flows to the another, and you have a data lake in a particular place, and you can do the analysis and come to a conclusion. Earlier, the problem was if 5 years before, most of the companies had the digitalization. But the thing is, their talent acquisition was a separate package. Training was a separate thing. There will be something for performance management. Each data was in a separate location. And getting this together, so if it is in one place, analytics is a very, very powerful tool to take future decisions. Whether it is predictive or prescriptive, it is going in a much, much different science, including every decision is taken through the data. People, they may say there's a facial recognition for attendance, but with that facial recognition, every day that fellow, they are giving an analytics telling how many of your staff is happy today, how many are not happy with their facial expression itself. So that level, the data analytics is going. Analytics is a very, very important area in which HR people have to start focusing on. And we have a separate program on HR analytics for every level of HR people. At least they need not become an analyst, but they should be in a position to understand and interpret the data.
Thanks, Dr. Jayakumar. It's been wonderful listening to you. I continue to be your Ekaleva. And maybe one small request, you must write a book.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thanks a million. I think I'm sure all the participants have enjoyed. It's a great learning. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
And when you're in Bangalore next, please do give a ping. I'll meet you.
Definitely, sir. We'll catch up. Thank you very much.
Thanks.